Light and darkness. You know, we use these words all the time, good and evil, hope and despair. But what if that's just scratching the surface? What if the Bible's actually telling a much bigger, more cosmic story with them? Let's dig in and see.
I mean, we all get the basic idea, right? Light equals good, darkness equals evil. It feels totally straightforward, almost obvious. But when we really start to explore the biblical narrative, we find out that this simple metaphor, well, it's just the tip of the iceberg. See, the story that's woven from the first page of Genesis to the last page of Revelation isn't just about moral choices. No, it's about a cosmic conflict, about competing realities, and at its heart, it's about the very presence of God himself. So, to really get this, we've got to start by adjusting our definitions. We need to move past thinking of these as just simple symbols to see what's really going on in this epic story. Okay, this is where the whole conversation shifts. Our common view treats light and dark as ideas. They're symbols for good versus evil. But the biblical view, it presents them as actual cosmic realities. In this framework, darkness isn't just evil, it's the absence of God's presence. It's a whole competing realm of authority. And that makes light the active, invading presence of God, breaking right into that territory.
So here's the crucial point. Redemption isn't just about saving individual souls. It's actually portrayed as this grand, sweeping story of divine light advancing, literally reclaiming territory that has fallen under a hostile influence. It's a story of presence pushing back absence.
So, why is darkness the go-to language for evil? Well, it works on a few different levels. On a human level, sure, it hides our actions, it lets us conceal things. But theologically, it's so much deeper. It represents rebellion, the broken state of the world itself, and ultimately, it's the symbol for any territory not yet filled with God's restorative presence.
Now let's jump over to the Old Testament and see how this theme gets built up, because this is really where the idea of light as God's tangible, physical presence gets firmly established. What an incredible image, right? This isn't just pretty poetry. It suggests that light is something that just radiates from God's very being. It's like where God is, brilliance can't help but follow. And we see this pattern play out over and over again. It all starts in Genesis, where God's first command, "Let there be light," pushes back the primordial chaos. Then think about the pillar of fire, this impossible beacon of light guiding Israel through the darkness of the wilderness. And later, both the tabernacle and the temple are described as being filled with this radiant, overwhelming glory, showing that God himself had come to live in that space, right among his people. And all of this buildup leads us to the central, most critical turning point in the entire story, the New Testament, where the abstract light of God's presence actually gets a human face. You know, the Gospel of John deliberately uses the language of Genesis here. Just like "let there be light" kicked off the first creation, John introduces Jesus, the Word, as the true light entering the world, kicking off a new creation. He isn't just a teacher with bright ideas. He is the divine light in person. So when this ultimate light shows up, it basically forces everyone's hand. It exposes everything for what it is. According to the story, people either find themselves drawn to it, wanting truth in life, or they instinctively pull back, preferring the darkness that conceals their actions. Christ's presence becomes a moment of truth for the human heart. But the story doesn't stop with Jesus. The light that he embodies is meant to spread like wildfire. It begins with his incarnation, it confronts and breaks the authority of darkness through his work on the cross, and then the torch gets passed. His followers are commissioned to become bearers of that exact same light, creating this massive, growing network of illumination. So, this totally reframes the mission of the church. It's not just about spreading a message, it's about literally extending the divine light into the world. You can picture each community becoming like a lampstand in a dark landscape, a small pocket of God's presence, actively pushing back the shadows around it. So where does this all lead? What's the end game? Well, the final act of this cosmic drama, according to the book of Revelation, is the absolute final victory of light. And this is the ultimate promise of the entire narrative. This conflict isn't some eternal stalemate. In this story, darkness has an expiration date. And check this out. This is just amazing. In the final vision of the new creation, there are exactly 0 nights. The fundamental rhythm of day and night, something we've known our entire existence, is just gone.
And this isn't just about eliminating physical darkness. It means that everything darkness represents is completely and permanently gone. Rebellion, corruption, suffering, alienation, all of it. In this final state, God's presence isn't contained in a temple or even in a person anymore. It completely fills and illuminates every last corner of reality. And that creates this perfect, satisfying narrative loop. The story that kicked off with a command bringing light into a formless void ends with a creation so saturated with divine light that there's literally no place left for shadow to hide.
So this leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If this entire cosmic story is about divine light advancing into darkness, it kind of begs a question for us, right here and now. Where are the areas of shadow and alienation in our world today? Where is that light needed the most?